Hey everybody, welcome back to Talking About Success. My next guest is Desi Tahiraj. She is a human resources specialist. She's worked 17 years at Columbia University, and she has a really powerful story and a powerful background. We're going to find out a little bit. She's a high performance trainer. She is a coach, a consultant, a speaker, and she's devoted her career to helping others, to really being of service, to help. We'll let her tell her about what her mission is. I'm going to ask you about that. It's really powerful. And she recently received the Albert Nelson Marquis Lifetime Achievement Award. Marquis is the who's who people. So when they give a Lifetime Achievement Award, that's a big deal. So welcome to the show. Glad to have you. Thank you very much.
Glad to be here too.
I'm glad you are. So you're on this mission to eliminate burnout, to help people be more successful, to build high performance cultures, help people live an on fire life. What got you into this mission? Let's go back to where it all started.
Yes, it's my lifetime dream to help people to achieve the greatness and to help people in a multi-dimensional level. Mm-hmm. And this comes from the power within that you teach in success principles, and to come to that place where people achieve the high performance without burnout. And what I find out 21st century is that in the business world, people get burnout very easily with the changes and in business and everything, and the cost of burnout is drastically in organizations. So I am striving to help everyone to prevent the cost of burnout in any cost, as life is a short, beautiful trip.
It is. I want you to go back even further. You grew up in Albania.
Yes.
And your desire to be of service and to end suffering, if you will, started way back then. Just give us a minute of that background, if you would.
Yes, living in a communism country, which is a very hard place to be, and is sometimes break or make someone. And fortunately, make us stronger as a family. We survive communism repression as a family. They killed 27 people from my family in one night.
Really?
And yes, and because we was not communist, only the reason, and took everything from us. And the reason my father survived is because he saved the life of Prime Minister, a communist country, a communist party. So in that case, that's the reason he was well known as an engineer, and he tried to build a factory. He helped to build factory because he finished school in Italy and have American and Italian school in Albania. So he gave us the passion, and from my mother and my father, I give that passion to help people from that starving, from everything in a life, repressing, and to help people in every way possible. And that is my passion since 9 years old.
Beautiful, beautiful. You shared some with me that blew me away before we came on here. You said that if your lights were on after 10 o'clock, you could actually go to jail.
Yes.
And if you read a book by an American, you could go to prison for
27
years. 27 years. My books would have not done well in Albania at that time.
Yes.
Amazing.
But what is more surprising, that I was, without knowing you yet, I was living in success principles, because I find the happiness from nothing in the street, from a small flower coming from the concrete. I sing all day for that flower. So I was, your success principles I was applying without knowing.
Very interesting. Okay, so let's come back into the present. So you're now teaching people about how to deal with burnout. And why is that such an important topic?
Yes, because as growing in that country and in a small, isolated place, of course, the mindset is the biggest issue that people in workplaces, because we are multinational society, and 21st century have a changes in a business all the time, and the mindset of people is one of them. And of course, one of them, I am high achiever burnout myself. And I went to because I am so passionate and self-centered person and heart-centered person, I went deep to understand that what really caused the burnout of people.
Starting with your own life, like
my own life,
Wow.
because I sell my house, I left my job, which I love, I divorced, and I didn't know, I rent, I didn't know with my only son, 15 years old, I didn't know what is going to be tomorrow, and I see that what it was really the cost of the burnout.
Which was what?
It was the mindset mostly. And also because high achievers, we take so much more than we can handle. And by saying no is really gift, actually.
So we need to say no more often.
More often. Because high achievers tend to take more in their shoulder all the time.
Well, I can imagine, too, if you grow up in a communist country, everything's for the good of the common, not for yourself, right?
Yes.
That's the way it's supposed to be. And if you're conditioned as a woman, you're supposed to take care of your children, take care of your husband. So you've got that going for you.
Yes.
And then you've got this desire to serve, so
Yes.
that gets in the way as well.
Yes.
How did you learn to say no?
Well, from my best well-known mentor, Mr. Jack Canfield.
Well, I wasn't trying to set you up to give me a compliment, but was it hard for you to say no?
It was hard to say no.
And how did you get there, though? What was the leap?
Well, because I was taking care of my sixth husband in that time, a sixth son, which most of the night we stay up all the night and in and out of the hospital. In the same time, taking care of my parents, and in a job I was working 2 jobs. And to that point that my director was telling me, Desi, learn to say no. Because I was telling everybody yes. And I was taking other people's job because the passion of me to help people, more people as possible, and that come to the point which it was breakdown in my part.
So if you look at this issue of burnout, it seems to be everywhere.
I think so, yes.
Why do you think that's true?
Because I see that over and over. I was working in government for 10 years, and then I work at Columbia University 17 years, and I see the executives which come to my office as I was a human resource, and I take care every problem or issues people have, and I deal with everybody, and the mindset is the first one, and the feedback, which is crucial to put it in a workplace, and peer coaching to put it in a workplace, because being accountable and being in a loop and in a way that organizations have to be in communication, in employee motivation, in a training for leaders, training for employees, in a case to be top to the game, to be high performance, in the same time to be fulfilled and to be within the boundaries of each job or each organization, or it depends on the organization issues. Different organizations have a different issue, so I serve them, depend on them issues.
Do you see this happening all over the world? Is this just a North American problem?
I think it's everywhere. In Europe, I spoke to my sister in Italy, and they are already overwhelmed by the amount of issues taking care. And of course, the changes all the time bring people to burning point and that mindset.
And what do you think that's costing the companies and the culture? I mean, all this burnout that's going on.
Well, mostly is from the culture of the company. And also, I think that is the mindset of the leaders.
Mindset of the leaders.
Yes, and to be in continuous development and to receive feedback from your employees and from your peers, and to be to look out for the changes coming every day, and to make that changes happen, which is change management actually.
Sure.
So in that round, we need to have in place processes and procedures and success principles that I learned from you is comply perfectly with what organization have to put in a place in workplace in order to have to be high performance and the people to be satisfied and not to get burned.
Now, if someone's watching this, and a lot of people are, so what advice would you give them if they think maybe they've got burnout, maybe they think they're leading toward burnout, or they want to avoid burnout? What would you say to our viewers?
Yes, the first thing is that for the leaders, the feedback and to continuously to upgrade them mindset, to see them perception, and to see that what the changes are taking place, and to have the communication is a primer to the to people, and to say no to things that's supposed to say no. And sometimes we take so much, and the organization expends so much in that anger, things to grow and to grow,
Right.
and then they don't recognize that the burning out is permanent in that organization if you do not catch it in front. So the training for employees and training for leaders is a must in order for you to maintain that high performance without burning out.
Now, you've worked with a lot of people. I'm just curious if you give us an example of perhaps someone you've helped, and how did you do that?
Yes. I work in academia, of course, and because we hire people from different nations, they have different mindset when they come to the work, and they hire people, let's say, that sometimes is not the person within that culture to fit in the culture. So there are many ways how to prevent that, and I deliver that changes to the new leader who is building his laboratory or his things, and when they have issues with employees, I intermediate with them to see the difference between the employee and the leader, and in what to see the both sides of the because everyone have their own way of seeing things, but to come to the point that what is the common good or greater good for everyone, and that solve the problem immediately, because when you put in clarity in both sides and what is the purpose of that, and to see that issue is not anymore issue if you take a look in that particular or if something is missing, let's say the leader, I put in a place to him and I show him resources that how he can prevent that in the future with the employee.
Okay, cool. So you have a book that you're finishing. It'll be coming out.
Yes.
You have, I know you give talks and you do consulting on
Yes.
creating high-performance cultures
Yes.
without burning out people.
Yes, indeed.
And you're also involved in leadership training.
Yes.
So if someone wanted to hire you as a consultant or to learn more about your work, where do they go?
They may go to my website, which is desitahiraj.com.
Okay.
And also in LinkedIn, I am well known in organizations. And also they have my email and desitahiraj@gmail.com.
Okay, and all that's on your screen so you can read it. Well, I wish we had more time. You're fascinating. And thank you for joining us tonight. And for all of you, if you're suffering from burnout, if you've got a loved one that's suffering from burnout, or if you want to avoid burnout in your own life or in your organization, as a leader, as an employee, whatever it might be, if you're in human resources, I would encourage you to get in touch with Desi. She's really someone who knows what she's talking about. So thank you for joining me.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
And thank you for joining me for this show tonight. We really appreciate it. So we'll see you again next week. Until then, take care and make sure you do the things you know to do to get to where you want to go.